Hello Lakers fan, if you are one of those who are always up to date with the news about our Lakers, then you need to stay tuned to what is coming up on our Lakers news channel. I am preparing exclusive coverage on the possible signings of Lakers, and what I can tell you is that rumors are catching fire on social media, and if you don't want to miss any information, stay tuned. We have exclusive news every day. If you are a true Lakers and don't want to be left out of the news, be sure to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's go to the video.
The end of an era? LeBron James' time with the Lakers may be nearing its final chapter. Despite officially opting in to his $52.5 million player option for the 2025-26 season, LeBron James' future with the Los Angeles Lakers has never felt more uncertain. Subtle signs, and some not so subtle, are beginning to paint a picture of an inevitable farewell. And this time, it feels different. It feels final. Recent comments from his longtime agent Rich Paul, along with reporting by trusted ESPN insider Bryant, strongly suggest that the LeBron-Lakers partnership is slowly, but unmistakably, moving toward its conclusion. They're starting to drift apart, Windhorst raises eyebrows. During an appearance on ESPN Cleveland, Brian Windhorst didn't hold back. LeBron's time in Los Angeles is coming to an end, he said. This is a slow separation. It's happening now, and it's clear to those paying attention. Windhorst pointed to one major turning point, the blockbuster trade that brought Luka Doncic to LA, a franchise-altering move that, surprisingly, LeBron had no direct involvement in. People assumed LeBron was behind the Luka trade, Windhorst added. But he wasn't. He wasn't consulted, nor was he opposed. He just wasn't part of the process. That silence says a lot for a player who has historically played an active role in shaping the teams around him. A new face of the franchise. Since Luka Doncic's arrival 5 months ago, the direction of the franchise has clearly shifted. The Lakers are no longer building around the 40-year-old LeBron James. They're building around Luka, a 26-year-old superstar entering the prime of his career. And while LeBron remains an all-time great and still delivers when it matters, his role has undeniably changed. The offense no longer runs solely through him. The spotlight is dimming, not because of age, but because the Lakers have found a new face to lead them into the next decade. LeBron has always said he wants to compete for titles, not just participate. And with the current roster still in flux, it's understandable if he's starting to question whether the Lakers are the right team to help him chase one last ring. Rich Paul keeps it vague, but the writing's on the wall. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, has remained diplomatic. He said publicly that LeBron is committed to winning, and that the Lakers need to make moves to compete. But he's also been careful not to shut the door on potential changes. There's no open trade request. No cryptic social media posts. No drama. But sources around the league say there's growing tension behind the scenes, a quiet recognition that the paths of LeBron James and the Lakers may no longer be fully aligned. Can the Lakers even trade LeBron? Not so simple. Even if LeBron were ready to move on, and even if the Lakers were open to the idea, trading him wouldn't be easy. For one, LeBron holds a full no-trade clause, meaning he can veto any deal that doesn't send him to a true contender. He's not going to a rebuilding team. Period. Then there's the matter of his contract. With a $52.5 million salary, any team hoping to land LeBron would need to offer both a competitive roster and enough cap space or assets to make the math work. According to ESPN's Bobby Marks, there is no clear trade market for LeBron right now. So, is this really the end? There's no official word from LeBron, no press conference on the horizon, and no confirmation from the Lakers. But the signs are there. The shift toward Luka. The silence on key decisions. The growing sense of distance. If this is the final chapter of LeBron's Laker era, it's ending not with fireworks, but with a slow, respectful fade. And maybe that's fitting for a legend who, even at 40, still demands the utmost respect, both for what he's accomplished and what he may still have left to give. FAQs, LeBron James and the Lakers. Is LeBron James leaving the Lakers? There's no confirmation yet, but trusted insiders suggest that his time in LA is winding down, especially as the franchise begins to pivot toward building around Luka Doncic. Was LeBron consulted about the Doncic trade? Surprisingly, no. According to Brian Windhorst, LeBron had no role in the decision, a rare departure from the norm. Can LeBron be traded? Technically yes, but practically? Very difficult. His no-trade clause and massive salary make it hard to find a destination that fits both competitively and financially. What's next for LeBron James? A defining off-season for the Lakers and their superstar. While LeBron James remains officially under contract with the Lakers for the 2025-26 season, the signs of a potential split are becoming harder to ignore. His player option keeps him in Los Angeles for now, but sources close to the team suggest this could be more of a pause than a commitment. With the franchise shifting its focus to Luka Doncic and a younger supporting cast, LeBron's place within the team structure is evolving. He's no longer the sole centerpiece, and that change, though understandable, is significant. The market is quiet, but not closed. According to NBA front office insiders, LeBron's trade market is currently limited. His $52.5 million salary and no trade clause make any deal complicated. Still, several teams are monitoring the situation closely in case circumstances change. Some of the teams that could make sense if LeBron becomes available. Dallas Mavericks, a pairing with Luka Doncic would create one of the most dynamic duos in the league. With Kyrie Irving also on the roster, the basketball fit would be explosive, though salary matching and team control remain obstacles. Cleveland Cavaliers, a return to his original franchise would be a full-circle moment. Cleveland has a strong young core, and adding LeBron could instantly elevate them to contender status in the Eastern Conference. Golden State Warriors, the idea of teaming up with Stephen Curry has long intrigued fans and analysts. While logistically complex, the competitive fit and mutual respect between LeBron and Curry could make the move compelling if both sides push for it. Miami Heat, a reunion with Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra could appeal to LeBron, especially if the Heat remain one or two pieces away from serious contention. Why a trade may never materialize. Despite the speculation, the reality is this: any trade involving LeBron must meet three conditions. First, it must be with a team that's ready to compete for a championship immediately. Second, the financials must work. Few teams have the cap flexibility or expendable assets to take on his contract. And third, LeBron has to approve it, which gives him total control over the situation. That's why many around the league believe he's more likely to finish the season in LA, unless the Lakers begin to slide or a truly irresistible opportunity arises. Inside the Lakers' dilemma. The Lakers are navigating a delicate balancing act. On one hand, they're investing in their future by building around Doncic, who is 14 years younger than LeBron and entering his prime. On the other hand, they're still tied to a living legend who is capable of elite play and still moves the needle more than almost any athlete in the world. Letting go of LeBron, even on mutual terms, would be one of the most difficult decisions the franchise has faced since the post-Kobe Bryant era. But if they truly believe their timeline now centers around Luka, the transition may need to happen sooner than expected. LeBron's legacy in LA, and what comes next. No matter what happens next, LeBron's impact on the Lakers is undeniable. He brought the team its 17th championship, restored relevance, and helped bridge eras of basketball history. But even great stories have final chapters. Whether that chapter ends this season or the next will depend on what both LeBron and the Lakers decide in the coming months. For now, the tension remains, respectful, professional, but unmistakable. And if the 2025-26 season turns out to be his last in purple and gold, fans may want to start preparing for the farewell tour of one of the game's greatest icons. Lakers already eyeing 3 stars to potentially replace LeBron James. As speculation grows around LeBron James' eventual departure from the Los Angeles Lakers, it seems the franchise isn't sitting back. According to multiple sources, including Zachary Howell of Clutch Points, the Lakers front office is already working behind the scenes, and they reportedly have 3 major names in mind to fill the void if LeBron moves on. The 3 stars on the Lakers' radar. The trio of targets includes Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers, Karl-Anthony Towns, New York Knicks, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee Bucks. Each represents a different path forward for the Lakers, depending on how the roster ultimately evolves around Luka Doncic. Donovan Mitchell, a rising star with Ohio ties. Mitchell is a natural fit, especially given LeBron's recent flirtations on social media with a return to Cleveland, the city where his NBA journey began, where he won a title, and where he remains a hometown legend. Mitchell's star is still ascending, and his scoring ability would bring a dynamic edge to the Lakers' offense. However, some insiders question whether he's the ideal complement to Doncic's ball-dominant style. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the dream scenario. Giannis' name has resurfaced in Lakers circles recently, despite a reported meeting with Milwaukee's front office that initially suggested a long-term commitment. Since then, however, he's been increasingly frustrated with the franchise's direction, particularly after the unexpected release of Damian Lillard. If the Bucks begin pivoting toward a rebuild, the two-time MVP may start looking for a new opportunity to compete, and Los Angeles would be more than ready to make a pitch. His versatility and two-way dominance would be an ideal fit alongside Luka in a championship-caliber lineup. Karl-Anthony Towns, a versatile big man. Karl-Anthony Towns offers something different, a modern big who combines interior presence with a polished offensive skill set. After helping the Knicks reach the Eastern Conference Finals, Towns has reasserted his value on the biggest stage. A trade involving LeBron for Towns isn't out of the question, especially considering LeBron's long-standing admiration for Madison Square Garden and the possibility he might welcome a final chapter in New York. Financially, Towns is the closest to matching LeBron's current salary, making the deal much more viable. The Lakers' strategic pivot, short-term deals, long-term vision. This offseason, the Lakers have adopted a new roster-building strategy, prioritizing short-term contracts, 2 years max. That approach led to the signings of DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia, giving the team both flexibility and upside without sacrificing long-term cap space. Why 2 years? Because 2027 is circled on the calendar. That's when the Lakers plan to offer a max contract to a top-tier free agent, and they're preparing now to have the space to make that happen. Interestingly, all three of the stars they're eyeing, Mitchell, Giannis, and Towns, could become free agents in 2 years if they don't extend with their current teams. From a financial standpoint, a trade for Mitchell or Giannis could actually create additional cap space to strengthen the supporting cast. Towns, on the other hand, would essentially replace LeBron's salary slot 1-for-1, which could make him the cleanest transition if the front office wants to preserve roster stability. Looking ahead. No matter what LeBron ultimately decides, the Lakers aren't being reactive, they're preparing. Whether it's by trade or future free agency, they want to stay competitive now while positioning themselves for the next era. Luka Doncic may be the face of the future, but who plays alongside him is a decision that could define the franchise for years to come. And if the Lakers get their way, that next great partnership might already be in motion. What happens next? Strategy, challenges, and the road ahead. Immediate moves versus long-term strategy. With LeBron's future uncertain, the Lakers' front office is in a delicate balancing act. Do they pursue a blockbuster trade now, or wait to hit the free agent market in 2027? Front office sources reveal internal debates are intensifying. If Giannis Antetokounmpo becomes available, the Lakers would likely be willing to part with significant future assets and use cap space aggressively. Pursuing a generational talent would be a priority. In the case of Donovan Mitchell, the Lakers might pursue a sign-and-trade package that preserves youth and draft capital, offering him a role that complements, rather than competes with, Luka. A deal for Karl-Anthony Towns could be structured more conservatively, preserving core depth and positioning the young roster for continued development. Each scenario carries significant financial considerations and varying impacts on roster flexibility. Broader ramifications for the Western Conference. If the Lakers land any of these stars, the ripple effects across the West would be dramatic. Giannis to LA would instantly reshape title odds, shifting power away from Denver, Minnesota, and Phoenix. Teams would be forced to recalibrate. A pairing of Mitchell and Doncic could form one of the league's most dynamic backcourts, pressuring playoff-bound teams to rethink their defensive plans. Even a Towns acquisition would bolster interior presence, offering matchups that challenge Denver's Jokic-led frontcourt and providing valuable spacing. Each addition would also influence free agent movement league-wide, as contenders refocus on depth, shooting, and athleticism to keep pace. How this impacts LeBron's legacy. No matter where LeBron lands, or if he stays, this transition phase will define his legacy. If the Lakers pivot now, it signals the start of a new era that could close the chapter on his time in Los Angeles. If he departs, especially via trade, it's likely to be viewed as a fair, planned conclusion to a remarkable stint with the franchise. His post-Lakers career could take various paths. Reuniting with former teammates, like Kyrie Irving in Dallas, could offer unique storylines. Returning to Cleveland would bring a poetic, hometown full-circle moment. Staying in Los Angeles alongside a new superstar duo would cement his role as a bridge between Lakers eras. Fan reaction, hope, hesitation, and debate. Lakers fans are split. Some want the team to fully commit to a post-LeBron rebuild. Others hope he stays one more year alongside a new co-star. League analysts widely agree the Lakers need to strike while the iron is hot, leveraging LeBron's still elite play to build around Doncic quickly. Smart watchers point out that patience is a luxury the Lakers may not have. Missing the next 2 seasons could leave them behind in a quickly evolving Western Conference. Final word, the Lakers' next move could define an era. All signs point to a pivotal offseason for the Lakers. They're not just planning around LeBron, they're preparing for what comes after. Whether that's Giannis, Mitchell, Towns, or none of the above, the decisions made now will echo through the franchise for years. For Lakers fans, this means a season full of suspense and possibility. Will they pull off a blockbuster? Will LeBron stay to help usher in a new era with the next superstar? Or will the team's next chapter begin without him? The next few months could rewrite everything, for LeBron, the Lakers, and for the landscape of the entire NBA Western Conference. Jackson Hayes waives no trade clause to stay with Lakers. After the blockbuster trade that brought Luka Doncic to Los Angeles and sent Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, the Lakers were left with just one true center on the roster, Jackson Hayes. Despite being the lone big man, Hayes rose to the occasion. He had several impressive performances throughout the regular season and brought high energy every time he stepped on the court, even though he saw limited action during the playoffs. Still, the Lakers clearly believe in what Hayes brings to the table. His hustle, athleticism, and spark off the bench are valuable, and that's why they decided to bring him back on a 1-year deal. While DeAndre Ayton is expected to anchor the starting lineup, Hayes is set to play a key role as part of the second unit. What's even more telling of his commitment to the team is the fact that Hayes agreed to waive his implicit no-trade clause to re-sign with the Lakers, as reported by Dan Woik of The Athletic. Under the NBA's collective bargaining agreement, CBA, players who re-sign with their current team on a 1-year deal after 3 or more consecutive seasons with that team have the right to veto any trade. This protects their bird rights from being lost in a move. However, Hayes chose to forego that protection, signaling not only his trust in the organization, but also his willingness to be flexible if it helps the team make bigger moves down the line. This situation is reminiscent of what the Lakers previously did with D'Angelo Russell. When he re-signed on a 2-year deal with a player option, he also waived his de facto no-trade clause, a move that ultimately allowed the Lakers to later trade him in a deal that brought in Dorian Finney-Smith. Of course, Hayes' contract isn't as large or as central as Russell's was, but the flexibility it gives the Lakers front office could prove valuable if the right opportunity arises. Lakers' raise for Hayes comes with some cap space trade-offs. To bring Hayes back, the Lakers gave him a 120% raise over his previous deal. It was a solid show of faith in the 24-year-old center, and he accepted, a win-win for both sides. But there's a bit of a cap twist. Because of how the deal was structured, the Lakers can no longer fully access their $5.1 million biannual exception. If they were to waive Shake Milton, they'd be around $3.9 million below the first apron, meaning they'd still need to shed roughly $1.2 million in salary to use the full exception. Still, retaining Hayes at that price, and with that kind of team-first mindset, may be worth the minor financial gymnastics. He's young, athletic, and clearly all in on helping the Lakers chase another title. Hayes' decision reflects a bigger strategy by the Lakers. Hayes waiving his no-trade clause isn't just a contract technicality, it's part of a broader theme we're starting to see with the Lakers: flexibility. In a Western Conference stacked with powerhouse teams, maintaining trade options and roster fluidity is critical. Hayes embracing that role, and doing so willingly, signals that the culture in LA is shifting toward cooperation and long-term strategy. For Hayes, it's also a smart move. By staying in Los Angeles, even on a short deal, he's putting himself in a position to grow within a high-visibility franchise. With a strong performance off the bench, he could either play himself into a larger role or become a key trade asset for a contending team looking to strengthen its frontcourt. Either way, he's keeping doors open while continuing to develop under head coach J.J. Redick, whose player-first style has reportedly resonated well with the roster. Lakers' cap space is tight, but not impossible to navigate. As the Lakers aim to build around Luka Doncic and Ayton, managing the salary cap becomes increasingly complex. Hayes' new deal slightly limits their use of the biannual exception BAE, which was previously a potential tool to add veteran help at a reasonable price. Without the ability to fully use the $5.1 million BAE, unless they clear space, Rob Pelinka and the front office will need to get creative. There's already chatter that the Lakers could look to offload smaller contracts, like Milton's, or attach second-round picks to clear marginal salary if a mid-season opportunity arises. But with the first apron acting as a hard cap trigger, they'll have to tread carefully. Every dollar now matters, especially if they plan to be active at the trade deadline or on the buyout market. League reaction: smart depth move, but more expected. Around the league, analysts see the Hayes deal as a low-risk, high-energy depth signing. He's not expected to be a game-changer, but his rim protection, mobility in transition, and lob threat presence make him an ideal bench piece in today's fast-paced NBA. Still, the move alone hasn't dramatically shifted perception. Most insiders believe the Lakers need at least one more reliable wing defender and a shooter to truly round out the roster, especially if they hope to challenge teams like Denver, Minnesota, or Oklahoma City in a playoff series. What this means for Hayes' future. For Hayes, the 2025 season is a pivotal one. With only a one-year deal and no long-term security, every minute on the court will count. Whether he becomes a key rotation piece in LA or ends up elsewhere due to trade maneuvering, this year will help define the next stage of his career. And by showing his willingness to put the team first, both financially and contractually, he's already earned respect inside the Lakers locker room and across the league. That kind of mindset, especially in a contract year, speaks volumes. DeAndre Ayton wanted to team up with Luka Doncic, and he got his wish. Landing DeAndre Ayton this offseason was a quiet but massive win for the Los Angeles Lakers. In a surprising twist, Ayton became available after being bought out by the Portland Trail Blazers, and the Lakers wasted no time. They shifted gears quickly, putting aside interest in other big men like Clint Capella and Brook Lopez, and seized the opportunity to sign the 26-year-old center at a discount. It was a move that made perfect basketball sense, both for the team and for Ayton himself. According to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, Ayton made it clear that Los Angeles wasn't just a good fit, it was his preferred destination. What drew him in? The chance to play alongside Luka Doncic. Ayton, a former No. 1 overall pick, reportedly sees Doncic as the best point guard in the NBA and was eager to join forces with him. Having played his best basketball alongside elite playmakers like Chris Paul and Ricky Rubio in Phoenix, Ayton knows firsthand how effective he can be when paired with a high IQ, pass-first floor general. Now with Doncic, one of the most gifted offensive minds in the league, he's hoping to reignite that kind of chemistry and elevate his game again. A fresh start, a real opportunity. Let's be honest, Ayton's time in Portland never quite clicked. Despite playing with promising young guards like Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson, the offense never flowed the way he needed it to. As a center who thrives in the pick and roll and lives off great timing and interior feeds, Ayton often found himself out of rhythm, and likely frustrated. Now in LA, he joins a team that knows how to maximize a big man with his skill set. Luka thrives in pick-and-roll situations and has a long track record of making bigs better. Add to that the presence of LeBron James and Austin Reeves, two high IQ, unselfish playmakers, and suddenly Ayton finds himself surrounded by creators who will draw defensive attention away from him and set him up for the easiest looks of his career. For the first time in a long time, Ayton won't be the focal point of the opposing defense. And that's exactly what could help him return to form, or even hit new heights. Doncic is just as excited. This isn't a one-sided reunion. Sources close to the team say that Luka Doncic is genuinely excited to share the floor with Ayton. He sees the potential in their pairing, a deadly inside-out combo that could stretch defenses thin and unlock a new dimension in the Lakers' offense. It's worth remembering, Ayton was instrumental in the Suns' 2021 run to the NBA Finals and played some of his best basketball during that playoff stretch, including a standout series against the then-defending champion Lakers. The talent has never been in question, but now with motivation and fit aligned, Ayton might finally be stepping into the version of himself fans have been waiting for. A high-stakes, high-reward gamble. For Ayton, signing with the Lakers is more than just a career move, it's a calculated gamble on winning and redemption. He's still young, still loaded with upside, and he's now in the best situation he's had since Phoenix. If things click with Luka, and if he embraces the role the Lakers envision for him, Ayton could quickly go from a buyout pickup to a cornerstone piece. The Lakers aren't just hoping for a rebound season, they believe this partnership could be the long-term answer at center. Ayton's arrival sends a message: the Lakers are all in. Bringing DeAndre Ayton to Los Angeles isn't just about filling a hole at center. It's a signal that the Lakers are going all in on building a team that can win now and develop long-term chemistry. With Ayton joining Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves, the Lakers now boast a well-balanced core of superstars, rising contributors, and role players who all complement each other stylistically. From a roster-building perspective, Ayton offers a rare combination of athleticism, size, and playoff experience, and he's still just 26. In many ways, this signing feels like a calculated bet that the Lakers can unlock his full potential in a way Portland never could. The Lakers are hoping that this environment, bright lights, playoff pressure, and elite teammates, will do what Phoenix once did, push Ayton into the best version of himself. Head coach J.J. Redick has already mentioned in internal discussions that Ayton will be encouraged to run the floor, set hard screens, and be a true two-way force, not just a finisher at the rim, but an anchor on defense. Lakers' offense could be deadlier than ever. The ripple effect of Ayton's presence is already being felt in the Lakers' offensive planning. Luka Doncic, who led the NBA in usage rate last season, will now have a vertical lob threat he hasn't consistently had since his early years with Dwight Powell. With Ayton running the pick and roll, defenders will be forced to make tough decisions. Hedge hard on Luka, and you risk an easy dunk for Ayton. Drop back and Luka will bury you from mid-range or beyond the arc. Meanwhile, LeBron and Reeves can also initiate pick-and-roll actions, giving Ayton plenty of chances to stay involved even when Luka sits. And with shooters spacing the floor, including recent additions like Taurean Prince and the re-signed Max Christie, the paint will be open for Ayton to attack. Reactions around the league. Quiet concern from rivals. While Ayton's signing didn't make the same immediate headlines as some other off-season moves, it hasn't gone unnoticed by rival front offices. According to several league insiders, Western Conference contenders are quietly concerned that if Ayton meshes well with Doncic, the Lakers could become one of the most balanced teams in the league, especially with their newfound depth in the frontcourt. One anonymous scout told Hoops Hype, "If Ayton buys in and they keep him engaged, that's a problem for everyone. Luka makes average bigs look great. Imagine what he'll do with someone like Ayton, who has real touch and size." Looking ahead, pressure and promise. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. There's pressure, a lot of it. Ayton is coming off a rocky year in Portland and still has critics questioning his motor, consistency, and ability to impact winning night in and night out. The Lakers are betting that their system, leadership, and competitive environment will bring out a more focused, aggressive version of Ayton. The front office also knows this move carries long-term implications. If Ayton thrives, he could earn himself a bigger extension and potentially lock down the starting center role in LA for years to come. If things go south, the Lakers still retain some flexibility, especially given the team-friendly terms of his contract. Bottom line, a perfect storm of opportunity. DeAndre Ayton wanted a fresh start. He wanted to play meaningful basketball again. And more than anything, he wanted to play next to someone who would elevate his game. Now, with Luka Doncic by his side and a Lakers team hungry to return to championship form, Ayton has everything he asked for. The ball is literally, and figuratively, in his court.